Hello adventurers, and welcome back to my channel. Over the next 4 days we're going to be going about 1,800 miles, which according to my map is 1 day and 3 hours worth of driving. And I have to get to a very special location because I'm going to a mountain house retreat. So on this video, you're coming along with me to see what 1,800 miles in my van on the road really looks like. Okay, so our first stop that I'm going to try to make is 11 hours away. And that's going to be a long haul today on some Texas roads. And my windshield is already nasty. Now, if you have never driven through West Texas, especially during summertime, it's pretty nasty. There are thousands of grasshoppers. So I opted to not wash my van before this trip, just because I know that as soon as I get to West Texas, it's just going to sound like pop, 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 pop. So instead, we're just gonna rock with the dirty for a little while until we at least get out of West Texas. Now, summertime is always an interesting time because it is super, super hot. And a lot of times it does make it harder to stop off at some of the cool roadside attractions because, well, it's just so hot. In fact, here in Texas today, it is already 98 degrees and it's still relatively early. We are in a record heat wave right now. So by afternoon, it's supposed to be like 108. So I'm getting out of here as fast as I possibly can. But with that said, let's hit the road. Okay, I just stopped at this gas station. Gas was $3.99 and we're getting back on the road. But first, I'm gonna do something I don't always do, but I kind of need to do today. I'm gonna go and pick up some fast food. Now, I don't like to do this because fast food is just not great, but at the same time, I'm feeling like I need something, but I don't need to lose hours by stopping and physically getting stuff out of my fridge and putting it together and all of that. So instead, I'm just gonna pick up some McDonald's and keep driving. I think this is gonna be the best thing I can do because I am only about an hour and a half into my drive, but I'm feeling the effects of the heat from the drive, even with my air conditioning. Now, normally whenever I have my air conditioner on while I'm driving, by this point in the drive, I would already be turning it down because, well, it gets real chilly real fast. In fact, it normally would be around 70 degrees by this point, but my thermometer is saying it's still 86 even with the air going. Yeah, it's that hot in Texas, guys. So, McDonald's, here I come. Apparently, I'm not the only one who had this idea. This is the longest McDonald's line I have seen in a while. So is this the best McDonald's ever? Is this why there's a line? Because there's definitely other restaurants around and none of them have this line. I guess we'll find out. Realistically, I can't even remember the last time I got McDonald's. It's been a while. It's been a while. Okay, so wonder what's on the menu, and I wonder how much the prices have raised. Now, I've heard all over the country that fast food has gone up astronomically, and because I don't eat a lot of fast food, I don't know. So we're about to find out just how much. Interesting. Now, I know Wendy's still has the 4 for $4, but they took some of the things off of the menu. I did see that, but there's no Wendy's in sight. So, McDonald's? Are you still having some deals? Do you still have a value menu? Or are you gouging? Okay, despite my better judgment, let's roll down this window and see what we have. Okay, they have some good combos. They do still have a $1, $2, and $3 menu, so that's good. And it looks like they have some decent options on there. So I'm probably gonna do the 2 for $2.50 McChickens, or 2 for $3 the hot and spicy. That sounds like it's right up my alley. That would be good actually right now. Let's do that. I get 2 sandwiches for $3.25. I still think that's a good deal. Now, I did notice some of the items on the menu have gone up, some of the combos. And I also noticed that some of the things that used to be on the menu are no longer on the menu. Now, I've seen other people talking about this, that they've been removing things from the menu because of limited availability of ingredients. So I don't know if that's why, or if they're just kind of changing things up and scaling back, or if it is location specific from state to state. But there are still deals at McDonald's. So that's a good thing to remember while I'm on the road. And then a lot of people are probably scratching their head going, okay, why'd you get 2 sandwiches and no fries? Well, I don't really love fries while driving because they get your hands all gross, and then it becomes a napkin situation, but you're driving, so it makes it hard. And I do like to dip my fries in sweet and sour sauce, and that's real hard when driving. Although I did find this really cool little cup holder thing that was on Amazon that you can put your dipping sauce in, and I contended at one point with getting one of those, but then that would just be another thing in my van. So yeah, we're just not gonna do that. Okay, we're up next, and I did attempt to clean the windshield unsuccessfully. It has been baking in the sun so much that it's just on there. So my idea is I get through Texas, and then I stop at a gas station after it's not quite so hot, and I just scrub, because it's not impairing me from being able to see out the window. It's just kind of obnoxious for filming, and so I want to get it better for you guys, but at the same time, I don't have it in me to stand outside when it is now 103 degrees scrubbing the windshield. I just don't. Just pumping gas even, I had sweat rolling down my face already. So yeah, we're just gonna wait until nightfall, give it a good scrubby scrub, get it all better, and tomorrow the views will be better anyway. Okay, made it a little further down the road and decided to bust into my fridge, which I have in the back, and I have these Nitro Pepsis. These things are good. They taste just like a Coke float. So it's really refreshing because it's like having a Coke float without actually having a Coke float. And I'm gonna need a little bit of caffeine to get me through the rest of Texas, because it just goes on and on and on. Now the route I'm going to be going today is actually going to have me in Texas for a little bit longer than usual, because typically I just hit 40, go across, and then go to Tucumcari, and then kind of cut up just a little bit. But this time I'm taking a completely different route, so I'll be going through the entirety of the Panhandle, dipping through a tiny hiccup of Oklahoma, and then entering into Colorado. That's why we have the caffeine. Just a little bit of an illustration of what that's going to look like. See, if we're going to be going on this path, this is Amarillo, and then once we get to Amarillo, we're going to kind of go north and then go in through the southern and most eastern point of Colorado to get up there. So we still have 8 hours and 39 minutes ahead. So as you can see, a tiny little chunk at a time, we're chipping away at this 11 hours that we're making today. Welcome to Oklahoma. We're gonna be going through here for just a short distance, but yeah, we finally got out of Texas. It only took all day. And this is what the Oklahoma Panhandle looks like. Well, at least this part of it. Nice, flat plains. Well guys, we made it to Colorado. So tonight I'm gonna be staying in Colorado, but I still have about 5 hours ahead of me. But yeah, welcome to colorful Colorado. I love this state. It's one of my favorites, but we don't have a lot of time here this time. We're just kind of passing through. So bye-bye, Oklahoma. Now something kind of weird that I'm noticing on this trip, my gas is dropping a lot faster than it normally does. And I'm not going faster. And so I'm gonna back it down in speed just to kind of see if that changes something. If I'm going 55 or 60 miles an hour and my gas is still falling, something's not right with that gas, guys. Something's not right. Now I've been seeing some rumblings from other people saying their gas just doesn't seem to stretch as far. And you know, sometimes that's just because we're impacted by how much it's costing at the pump. But really, it's not going as far. That is weird. All the gas that I picked up along this trip has been in West Texas. Is there something I need to know? Now looking out the window, you might think we're still in Oklahoma, but this is what the eastern portion of Colorado looks like. Very similar. Now there are some cool places in eastern Colorado, but I usually lean more toward the western regions. It just fits me a little bit better. But in this particular area, we are near the national grasslands. So there's lots of cool places that you can camp here, and there's just not very many trees. Okay, so this is the first town I'm actually passing through in Colorado. It's just a small town. Gas is a little bit higher here already than it was in Texas, but cute little town. They have some pretty interesting sculptures here, and I'll have to come back through this area at some point to go to those grasslands and the plain areas. But as you can see, we're hitting pretty late in the day. The sun is pretty intense, and we still have some miles to go. In fact, we are 4 hours and 26 minutes away from our destination. Update. I got this really weird whiff while I was driving, like a super weird whiff. Like to the point where I thought, oh no, did my toilet like have an issue or something? Like that's what we were smelling. And I stopped the van and opened the door to go check my toilet. And then I realized, no, that's just how this part of Colorado smells. Yay. I am turning toward Limon, L-I-M-O-N, and I'm on Highway 287, and I'm passing through these farm communities. And yeah, it's farm communities, but we've been passing farm communities and they hadn't smelled like this. Whoo! It is rank, and you can definitely tell it was a hot day here in Colorado. There's nothing that I can do to get this smell out of my nose now. Good times. I might just smell my air freshener up close. Is that better? Maybe. Okay, there we go. And update, the name of the town that smells like this is Wiley. Oh, it's bad, guys. Okay guys, I drove 11 and a half hours today. Whew, day one is in the books, but I made it to Loveland, Colorado, and I am currently at a Love's truck stop. Now, I've stayed here before, and you probably saw that in a previous upload whenever I couldn't find a campsite in Colorado along with Riley, and we ended up coming to this area. And this was a great place. It was very comfortable. However, we arrived much earlier, and so tonight there was only like one spot that was still open unless I wanted to park in the big RV spots. So thank goodness it was here, and now I'm exhausted, but I have to do it all over again tomorrow. So for now I'm going to go ahead and get something to eat because I'm starving. I haven't eaten since, well, I was in Texas, and yeah, I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna relax, and well, I'm still trying to figure out a few things. You'll notice that my lights are doing some strange things. Well, that's because I have my motion lights back here and I didn't put them in the front. I probably just need to cover them up so that they don't go off, because I'm going to be moving around in here for a little bit, even though the extra light is kind of nice. So yeah, day one, check. Good morning, adventurers. It's 6:45, and there's a lot of noise at the truck stop. So we're going to go ahead and get up. I've already gotten dressed, and now I'm just kind of putting my things back into place. Oh, and then we're gonna hit the road. I am gonna fuel up completely here though, and we're going to try to make it to at least Salt Lake today. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my life together. Current temperature is 75 degrees, so it's still kind of comfortable in here. And I slept with one fan and a cooling blanket last night. I didn't need to put up the zero breeze because it wasn't warm enough for that. Okay, so a couple other things that I do have to accomplish at some point today. I do have to call my bank. I was in such a hurry to get out of the house, and things were just so chaotic that for some reason I did not realize that it was a weekend. And so when I went to go and make that call, of course, the bank isn't open. So I need to do that today just to let them know that I am traveling out of state. I haven't been using my debit card just because I knew I hadn't been able to do that. So I will be needing to use it though in the future on this trip. So I need to let them know. Now, I always recommend you guys do this if you are traveling out of state, just because it makes life a lot easier. If there's activity in a state that you're not usually in, your bank typically will flag it as fraud and try to give you the call saying, hey, was this you? And that's happened to me before. However, if you call the bank and you let them know you're traveling in advance, that takes a lot of that out of the equation, so you don't have to worry about it. So can't do that for another couple hours, even though in Texas it's actually an hour later. So technically, even though it's 6:57 here, it's 7:57 there, and I think that the bank opens at 9. So in about an hour, I can give them a call. So I need to make sure I have good service in about an hour. Other than that, I have a couple small things that I need to do along the way. But with that said, we're going to try to make it to at least Salt Lake today. Salt Lake is about 6 hours and 50 minutes, I think, is what the map said, but we'll check it in just a second. And if I'm feeling good still, because that's going to put me still pretty early in the day, we might do an activity, or we might keep driving. Now, overall, we're about 15 hours away from where we're going as a whole. And so I wanted to shoot us up here a little closer so that we could have a better shot at being able to do some activities. So I think we did good yesterday, but we're going to stay on track. And I discovered something last night that I'm not happy about. Okay, guys, we went ahead and got 25. I hate paying cash because I never know how much I'm going to need, but 25 seemed like a safe number. So keeping up with all my receipts. Now you can see gas is $4.89 here, so they haven't got the memo on the price of gas going down just yet in Colorado. Now you might not be able to see it, but right here, right there, do you see that? So yesterday when I was going through West Texas, there was a rock truck that was in front of me, and I heard this pop. It always happens in Texas, guys. It always happens in Texas. Anyway, I thought it was at first just a bug. I was crossing my fingers it was. It was not. Yeah, so we're gonna have to get that fixed in the near future. Now, the nice thing is I do have windshield protection through my insurance company. So I may end up having to just call them and say, what do you want me to do? Or I'll have to get somebody to come out and fix it. Now, I've had to get my windshield repaired once, and that's actually how I realized I had windshield protection, was after I did that, I was talking to my insurance agent. She mentioned it because I somehow missed that along the way. So it cost me about 60 bucks last time. We will see if I need to do that again because I'm going to be on the road for a while, or if I can just get it fixed whenever I get back to base camp. It doesn't look serious. It's not deep. So I'm just going to keep my eye on it for the next few days. Now, the one thing that is concerning is that when you do get a crack in your windshield, even if it's just a little pop like that, sometimes because of the heat and also the cool, it can expand and contract, and that's whenever you get those big cracks. So I'm trying not to do that. Okay, 25 bucks got us 5 gallons. Let's see how much of a tank that got us. Okay, moment of truth. Here we go. Key is going in. And that got us about 3/4 of the way. Okay. Again, it's one of those frustrating things that if you cannot just top it off using your card, you never know how much to get. So I'll be putting some more gas in a little bit later once I get my card officially recognized as traveling from state to state. I can't believe I forgot this, guys. This is why I always tell you guys there's systems that you have to follow. Well, anytime that I veer away from my typical system, that's when I forget silly things. For example, I was trying to get out the house, get on the road, and I forgot my signs also. What? This is a weird start to a trip, but that's okay. I also believe that things happen for a reason, and so there is some reason that I needed to be able to do these particular things along the way. And in fact, before I even left base camp, there was kind of a little bit of an issue. Whenever I went to go start my van, it did not turn over. Now, I was working on some projects, and I had the doors open and also the key kind of turned on but not turned over, and so that's not good. So every so often you have to just like crank it over, especially when it's so hot outside. And I hadn't done that for days because I'd just been working on projects and it drained the battery. It wasn't a big deal. I ended up getting it boosted back up. My dad has a little box thing that boosts you back. And I probably should look for a travel version of one of those. I think that was the lesson I needed to learn from that. We're always learning lessons. And as long as we're not too proud to learn those lessons, it can be very beneficial. Anyway, we're gonna get on the road and see if we can't get a little bit closer to Salt Lake. Again, we're gonna have to drive through Wyoming because our map is saying that is the fastest route at this time. Now, I don't know why it is, but it is. In fact, I'm just gonna go ahead and map it to Boise because that's about 10 hours away. And so if I feel froggy, I'll go ahead and jump, but otherwise we'll find something cool in the Salt Lake area. Now, I do have to go up before I go down, again, because it says it's the fastest route, and you can see there is a huge difference in that time frame. So we're going to be going through Wyoming, over to Salt Lake, and then into Idaho. And I've never adventured in Idaho other than just driving through, so I'm trying to make myself have enough time to do at least a couple things there. Do I have anything planned in Boise? Absolutely not. I've just kind of looked and saw there were some cool things that were kind of close to the highway route that we're taking, so we shall see. But we're gonna be stopping in probably about an hour, so I can make that call anyway, so I can always look into it more there. Who knows? Do you see that over in the distance? The mountains, yay! Now that is my version of Colorado. There's nothing wrong again with the East. It's just the Colorado that I come back to time and time again. It's those mountains. I see lots of flat land in Texas. I don't see that. Oh my gosh. It just, every single time I see it, it just knocks the breath right on out of me and I smile. Permagrin has commenced. Of course, this is our view instead for the most part of this travel. And yeah, I forgot to wash the windshield again. Good times, good times. Oh guys, look, look, look. We have made it to Wyoming. And I have to say the sign is like one of the tallest state signs I've ever seen. But we're here. Okay, this area has been a nice drive. This is a very different route than I've taken before, and it's been this the whole way. So pretty. I mean, this is nice. There's definitely some different levels to this vegetation and to this landscape. There's some massive boulders, and as I kind of go through, you can see it just opens up in different ways. So we are definitely no longer in the rolling plains, although we are now in Wyoming, which means that we're gonna go back to some rolling plains. This country is amazing. That's all I can say. If you have never gotten out and been able to explore it just driving, oh my goodness, you're missing out. Now, if you happen to be passing through Laramie, there's actually a territorial prison here that's pretty cool looking. I am too early in the day to actually go there. Otherwise, I would. So again, I will have to come back to Laramie at some point in the near future because this looks like a big one. And also there's a historical museum here that looks kind of neat as well. So adding this to my list, making a mental note. In the meantime though, Laramie has a little bit of construction going on also. So the road is down to one lane here on I-80. There's also a Planet Fitness here. That's where Riley and I took showers the last time we were in town. And it was a good one. It was a really good Planet Fitness. So yeah, Laramie definitely is very nomad friendly when it comes to things to do, places to stay. There's a free campsite just outside of town, about 12 miles, and showers. So there you go, guys. Little pro tip. Road realities. Now, when I was here last time, we were down to one lane and we would just drive for miles and miles and there would be no one actually working on the road. I guess they still are doing that. I'm not sure where the work crew is, but we've been going for like 5 miles like this. And the line is like 12 deep behind me too. So it's a long, long line going all of, let's see, how fast? Oh, we're going 50. That's better than we were. We were going like 40. Okay guys, I went ahead and pulled into this McDonald's in Rollins, and I went ahead and called my bank. The reason why I came to a McDonald's is because I know that they have good connection even if I'm not getting good signal. So usually I can log on to their Wi-Fi and still be able to use my phone even if I'm still having limited bars. Now here in Rollins, I did actually have plenty of service to make my call without having to log on though, so it worked out really well. Nice thing is now I can stretch. I'm gonna go use the restroom and probably pick up either some coffee or some food. I'm not sure. I also need to log into my laptop, but I can do that from the van, so we'll do that in a minute. Okay guys, as you can see, I'm at another gas station going ahead and putting fuel in, and I can use my debit card now because I called my bank. I'm at a city market, and one of the things that I do whenever I travel across the country is I stop off at a variety of different grocery stores, and I always get their rewards because you get discounts at their gas pumps. So every single grocery store you go to, if they have a gas affiliate, get the rewards card. I just save 3 cents per gallon, and because here in Wyoming, they haven't quite caught up to Texas, gas is still very high. In fact, by saving 3 cents, I ended up getting it for $4.75, which is still a lot, especially considering I was putting in gas for like $3.99 in Texas. But it's fine, it's fine. We're saving every bit we can. Whew, that was $49.46. That is the highest I have paid for gas on the trip yet. Woo! That hurt a little bit, but I was almost completely empty. So save your receipt also, scan it into Fetch, and then you can actually get points, which translate into free money. Now that probably sounds too good to be true, but if you have seen my videos previous, any receipts that you get, you can scan into the app Fetch and you get points. The points add up and then you can cash them out for gift cards. Now I have cashed out so much money off of Fetch that I can use it for Amazon or Walmart or just $5 gift cards from Visa, things like that. And it's absolutely free to do. So if you're already spending the money, why not? You know, it's an easy app that you can use for just about everything. So we're going to scan that back in. We should get 25 points for it. And every little bit adds up. Right now, if I were to scan in all the receipts that I have just from this trip, I already have gotten like 250 to 300 points. So yay! We are back on the road and I forgot to wash the windshield again. Man, I don't know what my problem is. Oh wait, yeah, exhaustion. That's it. Exhaustion. Now it's harder to see in the camera, but Wyoming is really starting to show off a little bit in this part. This is kind of pretty here, and the clouds are just gorgeous, but one thing has remained consistent: construction. Lots and lots of construction. Now I do know part of that has to do with the fact that they cannot work on this at all during winter time because they have snow barricades everywhere because it gets that bad. So it kind of makes sense that they're doing it all right now when it's nice and toasty and no chance of anything weird happening. But wow, that is a lot of construction. Guess what, guys? We stopped at a Pilot. We kind of cleaned the windshield. Some of this is stuck, and then some of it's also on the inside. So all in all, we can see a lot better now. Also, I met 2 super cool people while I was here, and I had a great conversation. They were really, really nice, and they were on their way back from New York, going back toward LA, making an epically long trip also, and they were just really, really cool. So that really brightened my spirits a little bit. You know, you never know who you're gonna run into whenever you're on the road, and it just pays to be friendly and welcoming and also open for a conversation. Now, there is a difference between being open for a conversation and putting yourself at risk. You just got to be able to kind of discern that particular situation. And usually you can tell when a person looks at you and speaks to you that they're a good person or not such a good person. They have good intentions or not such good intentions. And these people were awesome. So that was super fun. And again, I'm smiling. So that's super fun now. There it is, guys. We are now in Utah. So that's our 5th state in less than 48 hours, and we're not finished yet. It's still kind of early in the day, so we're gonna keep on driving, and I still have Boise marked as our end place, but we may stop a little bit before Boise if I find something interesting. But this puts us well on track to get to our location and also have some time for adventures tomorrow. Yes! Well, Wyoming's not the only one working on roads. Northern Utah also working on roads. At least this time we're not all going into like one side yet. Well guys, we made it to Ogden, and as soon as we pulled into town, apparently there is an accident that is right up the road. And you can definitely see that traffic is trying to figure out what's going on and if they can stay in each of these lanes. Now they did have a light up sign that was like a mile back saying that one of the right lanes is closed. So I got over into the second lane, but everyone is now kind of slow. So I don't know exactly where this accident is, but we're just in it to win it because this is the way to Idaho. I mean, at least if we're going to be stuck here, though, we could do the license plate game. There's New Mexico. There's Utah up there. What's this one? Ooh, that one's also Utah, but a different one. Of course, if you've been following my channel for very long, you know I have an app for the license plate game. And usually whenever I have a friend with me, we'll pop that open and just kind of see how many state plates we can find. In fact, the last time that I played that, I was with my friend Anika driving from Vegas all the way to Florida, and we found almost all of them. But yeah, I don't like to do that whenever I'm traveling by myself because it means I have to be touching my phone a lot. So I just kind of mentally do it. And well, there goes another one. There went California. Fellow Texan over there in that white truck. Yay! So I'm just gonna keep doing this, and I'll get back with you once I figure out what's going on up here. Oh, I see it now. It's over in that right lane, and it looks like, ooh, that doesn't look good at all. Yeah, not good. Oh, really bad. Note to self, exit 17 as you're leaving Utah going toward Idaho is called Rattlesnake Pass. Hard pass on that one. We won't be going there. I've learned that they name things based on what they've experienced in many of these places, and nope. I mean, check this out though. This is 84 west, and Utah, this is an interesting part of you I haven't been to before. Guess what? We are now in Idaho! So we started out in Texas, went through Oklahoma, passed through Colorado, went on to Wyoming, Utah, Idaho. Wow! And it's hard to believe that I left Texas less than 48 hours ago. Oh my goodness, we've been on this road, but I'm really excited to see what Idaho has to offer. I haven't ever been able to do anything in Idaho. I've literally just kind of passed through the top tip. Well, this is the bottom side, so even if I can't stop off and do everything I want to do, I'm going to kind of keep my feelers out so I can see what all's here. And if something does call me to kind of venture off, then tomorrow we'll venture off and do something. That'll be super fun. Right now it's about 5:25 in the afternoon. So yeah, I don't know if it's 5:25. Is it 5:25 in Texas and 3:25 here? I don't know. Whenever I travel from state to state, I never fully know what time it is until I get someplace for a considerable amount of time and then my phone decides to not be weird. I turn it on to airplane mode and then turn it back, and still sometimes it plays games with me, especially in Arizona. Also, I had another one of these. Are they the best for me? Absolutely not. But do I need the caffeine to stay alive because I didn't get coffee today? Yeah, I did. Normally I don't drink a whole lot of sodas, but it's either soda or coffee, and I figured that a soda might fare a little bit better with the longer drive, you know? You know what I'm saying. Man, guys, the closer that I get to the West Coast, the more expensive the gas has gotten, and wow, I just paid $5.07. Now, I did use Gas Buddy to find the cheapest gas along the way, and I definitely encourage, especially while the gas prices are so high, for you guys to be using that, because it literally shows you all of the listings around you, so you can kind of pinpoint where the best quality gas will be for you on your price point. But oh my gosh, $5.07. That's the highest we paid on the trip yet. And at this point, gas stations are more and more spread out. So of course I'm gonna stop as soon as I do find gas stations. So I had like 5 different options in this area that popped up, and some of them were up to 20 cents higher than this. What? Whatever is happening in our world right now when it comes to gas, they got to get that under control. Because as much as I usually don't drive this much of a distance, it hurts every time I go to the pump. And I have a super efficient vehicle, so I can only imagine how some of you guys with the bigger rigs are handling this right now, because it just took me $45. I had like 2 bars left. I was about to drop down to 1 bar, so almost a full tank, $45. But man, I'm missing those Texas prices. Not the Texas heat, but the Texas prices right now. Okay, so you can probably see this. It says 2 hours and 5 minutes to the Flying J in Boise, and I think that's going to be a good place. It has some good reviews, and if it doesn't, there's also a TA there and a couple of other truck stops. So that's where we're going to try to call our evening instead of going out and boondocking somewhere. Now, why? That's a good question that you're probably all asking. Why am I picking a truck stop over a beautiful scenic place? Well, because the truck stop is going to be close to the attractions that I'm thinking about going to tomorrow, and so I'll be able to just hit the road, go to those, and then get back on the road to get into Oregon. And so I think that's going to be a better bet, because I am going to be enticed if I go to a beautiful spot to just sit and not go anywhere. And I can't do that right now. Sometimes you have to make calls that are for the best of the overall picture. And right now we're making a powerhouse drive to Oregon. I also need to find a patch for this state, because I couldn't ever find a Wyoming patch, just like a plain Wyoming patch. What was up with that, Wyoming? Like, see, I have an Arizona one right there. And then I also have somewhere up here, oh, there it is, a New Mexico. I somehow also don't have a Colorado, and I definitely need one because, well, this is an archive of all of my travels. And so it needs to reflect all of the states too, even though I technically do also document it on my stick-on map. I might have an issue, guys. I might. Okay, guys, I'm driving, and kind of north of where I am, it either looks like a really big storm is coming in or there's a fire. So I went ahead and pulled up the Idaho Fire Map, which every state has one, especially in this area because, you know, fires. And it says that there is a fire north of where I am, but on the map it looks like it's further north than these like ominous clouds are. And I tried to film it, but it doesn't look as ominous on film. It just doesn't. It looks really crazy here in person though. Let me try to show you. Do you see that? So that cloud in the front has gotten bigger. And that's why I'm saying it's either a really gnarly storm that's trying to blow in or it's a fire. Now, I also looked on the weather app and it does not say there's a storm coming through this area. So I am assuming that is a part of the fire. Yeah, we're going on down the road and we still have about 130 miles to go, but that is crazy looking. Oh, I have a better view now. Do you see that? Yeah, it goes all the way to the ground. Now, I started seeing this kind of from a distance and I'm getting much closer to it, but at the same time, still very far away. But wow. This is why it's super important to make sure that you check your chains, that you make sure you don't have a fire in an area that has fire restrictions, that you don't throw cigarettes out the window, and you follow all the other fire safety, because whatever that is, it's not good. Okay, yeah, so it definitely is a fire. I'm starting to see the pink at the bottom of it now, and oh, this is bad. This is a really bad fire. Now this is the time really, really hard. And even though there's been a lot of beautiful green lush areas, there's been a lot of farmers who've been watering everything. The areas they're not watering are clearly scorched from the heat, and it's been really, really hot up here too. So like today it's 91 degrees. Why is it that this is getting closer to us now? Now the highway is clearly not closed. There are no signs indicating it is closed, so it's not at the highway, but what? Like, the road is bending, so maybe it still is north of the highway? I can't really tell at this point. Okay, so it is north of the highway. This is confirmation that it is not crossing the highway. Okay, we're just discovering this as we go. On a positive note, it does look like we're going to be passing this area soon and getting kind of ahead of this, but wow. Okay, guys. So I made it to Boise and I made it to the Flying J. Except for this is not your average Flying J. We can't stay here. Let me show you. That's the whole thing. This is like the world's smallest Flying J ever. And there's truck parking back there, but we're not supposed to park where the trucks park. Oh, today's gonna test me, guys. Today's gonna test me. I passed like 3 good truck stops on my way here, and I was just trying to get into Boise so I could do some stuff tomorrow. So I'm gonna see what else that they have here now. And I still have some daylight, so it's okay, but wow, that was a disappointment. Okay, so we have a plan. The other truck stops were back that direction, so I instead am going to go this direction because that's the direction I want to go anyway. And I did find something, but it's further down the road by about 50 miles. Now, I still have plenty of energy, and I don't know how, just running on caffeine and sheer energy, but we're going to get to that other place, and there's 3 different options there. Plus, that'll put us closer to where we're going ultimately anyway, which was the goal. So we're going to be touching down to our 7th state in our 48 hours. And yeah, I'm pretty proud of this drive, guys. This has been a crazy long drive, but we have muscled through 7 states in 48 hours. What? And yeah, guys, the bugs are back. The bugs are back. Oh, it's a never-ending battle. Especially whenever it's so dry. The bugs just seem to be everywhere. Well, guys, I made it to Oregon. 7 states in 48 hours. Wow. I'm gonna go ahead and get around, and then I'll hop out and share with you where I stayed last night, and then we'll wrap up this video and get on to our next adventures. Okay, let's go check it out. As you can see, nice green lush grass. Where could I be? We made it to the Ontario Rest Area. This is the westbound entrance into Oregon along I-84, and this is the Welcome Center. And I love rest areas in Oregon because they all just kind of have something a little bit different about them, and they're really welcoming. There's Dimples. So you might recall the last time that I was in Oregon. Well, you might not, because you might not have seen those videos, but I have a whole playlist of the last time I was here and the cool things I found. Well, one of the things I noticed was that rest stops here are extremely welcoming to nomads. You can only stay for a few hours, so like 10 hours, but that's a good overnight sleep. But then each one of them tells a little bit about the history of the area that you're in. So they're definitely places that you want to stop. Now let's take a look at some of these historic signs that tell us a little bit about the Oregon Trail. This was considered to be the eastern gateway to Oregon's Oregon Trail. And this is the Ontario area where we are currently. You'll notice that several of the marked spaces, like the Alkali Springs and the Farewell Bend, and then there's a hot spring and a pass right down here. And then each one of those areas is documented through these signs. And then also we get to learn about the diversity in the area and the Native Americans that were already here, and how by bringing people across, they started an epidemic, and how the trail evolved, and also some of the first trailblazers. So I think you can see why these kind of stops are so awesome. And this is a perfect conclusion for our 48 hours, 7 states video. I'm going to just take in some of this history and then also share a little bit more of the grounds with you guys. And then I'm off to my next adventure. Okay guys, I just left with my bag of goodies and a sticker for my water bottle. I always tell you to stop off at the welcome centers anyway, and this one was a great one because they made some great suggestions, but you're gonna see some of that on my upcoming channel videos, and I think you're gonna be as excited as I am. If you've enjoyed coming with me on this whirlwind 48-hour 7-state tour today, then make sure that you leave a thumbs up and also subscribe. You're gonna wanna see all of these amazing things that we're doing while we're here in the Oregon and Washington area. It's gonna be epic, so beautiful. If you want to kind of get a taste of it, you can go back into my playlist and see where I've been before, but just know, those are old videos. We're gonna be doing a lot more. We're gonna be doing a lot more. Until next time, guys, bye!